So just to confuse things a little, I'm actually going to throw in an extra question here. So recently, the government of Bhutan changed their constitution to bring in an aspect of gross national happiness. So they said that from every aspect of what happens in their country, from agriculture to transport to foreign trade, that it must be judged not on the economic benefits, but on how it affects the happiness of the people who live there. So my question to you, 1 minute each, is what will you do to foster a greater gross national happiness?
Well, you know what I'm going to say, don't you? I think that would improve the happiness of our societies if we legalise cannabis with regulation, because A, then the young people of this society won't disrespect the police. Older people will be happy because their friends aren't dying of cancer or brain tumours, and that we aren't going home and bashing our wives because we're drunk, or causing fights outside the fish and chip shop, or being at the hospital vomiting and bleeding and causing distress all around. Cannabis is not a violent drug, it is not a dangerous drug, but it does need to be regulated and it should be legalised. Thank you.
Right, and back to the final question that they do know about. So this is another yes or no answer, and it's not particularly a national politics question, but it was one that I was asked to ask. And it is, again, why or why not, do you support the amalgamation of the Tasman district with Nelson City? Or Nelson City with Tasman district? So, Stephen.
My thing is I'm the only one here that's going to actually affect. I only know what I know, and Golden Bay Council, when it was around, had a brand new road maintenance vehicles, new grader, all that sort of stuff. We amalgamated with Tasman, and whoosh, our new vehicles and grader disappeared. We never saw them again. But we did get a board in return, which has no power, and is also charged over $100 an hour when it brings a bureaucrat in to do meetings. I saw Golden Bay get more marginalised. Bigger isn't necessarily better. We should start looking at living within our means, becoming smaller, and look around. We don't really need to be building all these unneeded infrastructures at the moment. Thank you.
So we've just got, well actually, two more questions that were placed on the Facebook page, but they are both quite similar, so I'll read them out together, but it'll be one question, and it's about accountability. Of MPs in general, but particularly of the leadership. So John Murphy asked the question, if this election is about leadership, how can we trust a leader that is economical with the truth? For example, not to put up GST with accredited agencies, will downgrade New Zealand if Labour wins. And in the TV1 debate, the government ran deficits for 8 of the 9 years, and he goes on in that respect. So asking how are we going to make the leader accountable, and Ron Kestrup, his question was, the last government, especially the MP, has refused to be accountable for their actions by fronting for serious media interviews. So the question is, what will your party, or you personally, do to ensure that your leaders and your MPs step up and face serious questioning?
See that larger parties don't go into coalition agreements with smaller parties that have deal breakers in them, and I would like to see the leaders be held accountable, so if they make a statement and they lie, they should not be allowed to stand for office next time around.
Well, thank you all very much for your answers to the questions. I hope that was enlightening. What we've got next is a 2-minute summary from each of the candidates, so why they're going to say, I'll be so good for you, and vote for me.
We're wasting $100 million on cannabis prohibition. We're unable to tax the over $1 billion, currently $1 billion cannabis industry. Nobody is gaining from this except the gangs. Prohibition has failed, prohibition is wrong, it doesn't protect anybody. Decriminalisation, all that is status quo with softer penalties. The only way forward is legalisation with regulation. Aotearoa Legalised Cannabis Party supports legalisation with regulation. So, on election day, when you go in, look down the party list, tick the leaf, and send a message to the government, and also tick Stephen Wilkinson as your representation. Thank you for listening to me.
Thank you all very much for your patience, and thank you candidates for your very well-behaved behaviour. I didn't have to use the sharp end of my hammer. And come the 26th of November, remember that every time you vote, politicians win. Enjoy the evening.